Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. I'm your host, Megan Chocolates, and I'm joined by Damon Daunno. Yay!
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
How did your theatrical journey begin?
Well, I was a very obnoxious child, and I really loved attention, and I really wanted to be an actor. I really wanted to do movies and things like that, and in my hometown, the closest thing to do that was the school plays. And so I started in like middle school, just doing the plays, and then that turned into like the summer musical, festival, and then took it a bit more seriously in high school. And that just sort of, I found a lovely community of friends and mentors from the theater folks at school. So I would say middle school plays is really what set that ball in motion.
What shows were they?
I think the very first one was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I played Mike TV.
Great.
At the time, I was really gutted that I wasn't Charlie, but Mike TV is a better part anyway, way more fun.
Totally.
Got to use like a little cap gun, and it was fun. But I'd say like the first time it felt like, oh man, this is awesome, was I got to do like the older kid play, which was Tommy. So I got to play 10-year-old Tommy in like the high school production of Tommy. So I got to hang out with like, the older kids. And there was a fella in my hometown who was always, the lead in all the stuff. And I really looked up to this guy in my hometown, and working with him was like, oh man, this is what I want to do. This is so cool. So.
Yeah, that's great. What was your first big break?
That's an interesting question. I guess it's hard to sort of come down on that, because part of me is like, well, I guess maybe like the reading I did that got me an agent for the first time, that really was an important moment in my life, or potentially the first time I got to quit my day job and get paid to do a show was also sort of like a break. But then, maybe Oklahoma kind of feels like my first like big break in like a fancy way. But then the reality is like, I feel like I'm still waiting for it,
So humble. Now, how do you approach a role? What's your technique? How do you go about that?
I'd say every show is different, every director is different, every world you're creating and asking for people to go along with you is different. And so I would work from the outside in, it's about understanding what story we're telling, on like a really basic level, like Three Little Pigs style. What is this story we're saying? And then you can kind of work inward to your character. Like the text to me always informs bits of character, and then what are the circumstances of this scene, right? What is this guy, or who's this person's drives or fears and things like that. It's tough to talk about acting process without totally sounding lame, but I would say, it's like understanding the story, both the macro and micro, and then understanding your person and their heart and the plight of these characters, so you can help tell the bigger story. It's really easy for actors to sort of forget that it's not about them, and to be like, oh, my part and my journey and my work, but it's really a team sport, and so approaching it is all about like building an understanding for the world and the story we're trying to tell. And then in the room, what does this director want? What is my scene partner's understanding of this story? How can we complement each other and tell the same story, essentially?
So Damon, you were in the Muse Sessions
I
produced
was.
by Art Lab. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I got to play some guitar and sing a bunch of songs with exceptionally talented humans. And it was really fun because it was an awesome mashup of these classic tunes, but with this concept of the artist and the visual that went along with it. So it would be like celebrating a famous painter's work and singing a song that might speak to that piece. And so that was a really cool process and experience. And so I got to sing some David Bowie and a track called There Goes My Inspiration, which was a Todd Rundgren song, but he wasn't famous for it. And then we did Sunday from Sunday in the Park with George, which was awesome because I've never done that show, or I rarely get to sing Sondheim, so that was really fun to work on that. And Meg was just incredible and created such a supportive, nurturing environment. And yeah, all the singers were incredible. It was a really fun evening. Yeah.
Now I have to ask, you've played many roles. Which has been your favorite?
It's a fair question. So I did this show called The Tin Drum, which was an adaptation of this Günter Grass novel. A very heavy subject matter, but it was an incredible experience because we really built it from the ground up. We stayed in these barns on the cliffs of Cornwall, and both the music nor the script were written. And so we all came together and had these little pockets of development. There'd be like music sections, and the writer would be, sort of bopping around, and then the company, we would do all these interesting physical exercises and approaching things from a non-intellectual place. And then to have all that sort of come together to the point where we had a show a few weeks later and then immediately tour it all around England, was a really pure experience. There was no real like showbiz around it or anything like that. It was very true in that respect. And then the part itself, he was like an innocent, he was like a clown. And so I got to do like comedy, which is not something that I regularly get asked to do. But so I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of like countertenor. It was an opera as well. So it was like this electro opera thing. But so there was a lot of like falsetto singing and dancing and clowning, but had the gravitas of the subject matter that was, and the visuals, the playfulness of Nihai's production and stuff. It was, I think, a really special one for me,
Yeah. Now, speaking of roles, do you still have a dream role that you've yet to play?
So I don't go like crazy deep in like the classic musical theater canon, but I do have a handful of dream roles. And the MC in Cabaret has always been a dream role of mine. But lately I've been really thinking about Sally Bowles. So I think that would be, something I'd like to take a swing at for any imaginative directors out there.
I could see it. And you know what? I would love if you could show us what that audition would sound like.
I mean, it'd be more like karaoke than audition, but I would happily sing a tune. Yeah.
Logan Medland on piano.
Maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time I'll stay. Maybe this time, for the first time, love won't hurry away. He will hold me fast. I'll be home at last. Not a loser anymore like the last time and the time before. Everybody loves a winner, so no Mo.
That was so amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. This has been Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. See you next time.